2026 wing Bryson Howard, a five-star recruit, has narrowed his list down to UNC, Duke, and Kentucky. Dion, I've gone on this channel many a time and proclaimed how much I love Bryson Howard. I was saying this late summer before I even knew UNC had much of a chance. I just want to be clear. I don't just like him because my team is on him. However, I also went on record saying mine, mine, mine. And yet, as we near a decision, those bold proclamations, my confidence in that is starting to wane a little bit, especially when you see Duke and Kentucky on the list. Now, I believe this is the first time that you and I have talked about Bryson Howard together. Do you have any thoughts on his game?
Yeah, listen, I like his game a lot. Pops is Josh Howard. Josh Howard was one of my favorite players when he was on the Mavericks. This kid can really shoot it. 45% from three on the EYBL circuit. He attacks the rim, obviously gets downhill very aggressively, much like his father. Plays defense very aggressively, again, much like his father. He has a lot of Josh Howard in his game, in my opinion. Um, I mean, if I were you, like I'd feel pretty confident. This feels like a recruitment that, like, he's the 12th ranked player in the country. For Duke, that probably means you're coming off the bench. Like Kentucky, Lord knows what Mark Pope is going to do in a recruiting battle. And it just feels like when North Carolina wins, a quiet one that like kind of just like sneaks away, and then like North Carolina sneaks in and gets them, and that's like their one recruit for this cycle. And Duke probably recruits over Bryson like really quickly, like really, really quickly, or they just have one of their other million top 10 recruits just return for their sophomore year. Um, it it feels like a recruitment North Carolina is going to win, in my opinion.
I appreciate you laying that out. And, there might be some UNC fans that say that's hate. I think that's just realistic. Also, you won over my guy, Terrence Spain, who's in the comments of every UNC video. This is like a bit that Carter and I have had where he's like, he's came at both of us and called us out for being too critical. But you and I did a UNC video. I think it was our state of the program.
Mhm.
And he was in the comments like, Dion, my brother, love you, my guy. I'm like, Dion's the one who's most negative to UNC. Why is he the one who's getting called your brother? But yeah, shout out to Terrence. Hopefully you're in the comments for this one, weighing in, giving us your thoughts. But yeah, I think you hit on a lot of good points for even the nature of this battle. With Duke, they're heavily, heavily in on both Cam Williams and Jordan Smith Jr. And I think both of those guys. I mean, I would guess Shire is selling Jordan Smith on the point guard role. And even when you look at, I believe, his EYBL numbers for Team Takeover, he averaged 20 points, 4 assists, 7 boards a game. So he has that ability to run an offense. I just think Jordan Smith is more of a wing. And then maybe, coaches are telling him right now. Maybe he can develop into like a true lead guard. But yeah, I still think of him as more of a guy you want as like a secondary creator. And then Cam Williams as well, I think is someone who likes having the ball in his hands, can create a little bit at 6'10", 6'11", and has just really good touch inside the basket, and you can run your offense through him. So when you look at those two guys and Duke being in the thick of it for both of them, I mean, both Williams and Smith are top five recruits. I think there is an opportunity for Hubert Davis and his staff here to point out to Bryson, like, you are the number one priority. And I think our friends over at Inside Carolina, they've hinted at that. That's been the words coming out of the Carolina staff, is that, Howard is someone who they truly believe as the centerpiece of their class. And what's interesting, you mentioned Josh Howard. I think with some of those, it's crazy to say this, but they're now moving into like the old school NBA mold. I mean, he has a son who's about to be in college. I think there is a little bit more of like respect for tradition of blue bloods, and that's why you're seeing, a strictly blue blood recruitment coming down to those three. There's none of the new contenders in it for Bryson, but I wonder if maybe just with a parent like Josh Howard, if that tradition of Carolina could even factor in more for him and the whole Howard camp as they're making a decision.
Well, I mean, I also think when you see guys that rise as quickly as Bryson did, like he was not even ranked,
Hmm.
what, like a year ago? Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe something like that. Like, I think when you see guys like that, like so quickly getting thrust into the spotlight, it normally ends in blue bloods because
Hmm.
they've been dealing with and I mean this respectfully, the San Diego States of the world for years. And they're like, yo, I'm good. man. Like I'm not like I'm good off the Wake Forest stuff. I know my pops went there, but like y'all been talking to me for a while.
Hmm.
I'd rather go to a blue blood. So I feel like it's lining up blue blood because he also wants to be a one and done. And I do think it's easier to be a one and done when you go to a blue blood school. Even if you don't play,
Hmm.
to be honest with you. I like look at a Drake. Like I think it's very easy to be a one and done at a blue blood. Um, D- Duke feels like such a long shot to me in this, like such a long shot to me because, like you said, Cam Williams, Jordan Smith. I don't think Kamini is one and done.
Hmm.
I don't believe so. If he is, it wouldn't shock me, but I don't think Kamini is one and done. Darren Harris is going nowhere. I'm starting to think like maybe Isaiah Evans is back again in a year. Like it's seemingly becoming like with every single practice or every single report, every single scrimmage, Cam's gone, Big Pat's probably gone. Everybody else is probably still on this roster if
Hmm.
you're Duke.
Dion, you okay? You look a little sweaty.
So every August, September, my air conditioning breaks and there's just nothing I can do about it.
Dude, that's tough. Out in California too. Like, I mean, what is it, like 80 degrees still there today?
Today's gonna be like 85, 90, but like peak summer, it gets like 110. My AC just doesn't ever hold up.
I mean, it sounds like it's a bummer that you can't take advantage of Duncan Mechanical Solutions because Duncan Mechanical Solutions is an HVAC company based in Angola, servicing the tri-state area, bringing commercial quality to the residential world with excellent customer service. You heard us talk about Duncan Mechanical last summer. If you need heating or air conditioning, kitchen or bath remodeling, or all of the above, Duncan Mechanical is the place to go in the Midwest. Go to DuncanMechanicalSolutions.com to take advantage and make sure you don't wind up like Dion.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
Like you're laying out the pitch and everything that UNC should be leaning into right now. I mean, if you're looking at their roster, okay, yeah, you might have Jonathan Powell back for his junior year, but if you're Bryson, you look at Jonathan Powell. I like Jonathan Powell. You like Jonathan
I
Powell.
love Jonathan Powell, but if I'm Bryson Howard, that's
You're
not.
not scared off by Jonathan Powell. Yeah, he's an ancillary piece, a good one, but he's still like you can go be the guy. Luka Bogovac will probably be back because I think
Yeah,
will get
he'll be back.
he'll get 2 years of
Respect.
eligibility. Okay, if Luka's not back, I think it's because he just says, "All right, that was fun for a year. I'm going to go back and play in the Adriatic League again."
Yeah. No, he might prefer to like own like a corner store or something like that.
Okay,
Like
be nice to
him
Luka.
and Petrovic. And I think Petrovic can hoop, but like both of them might be like, yo, this like college stuff is crazy. I'm just gonna go back and own like a
Yeah.
practice spot.
Right. You just have to like it's a year by year roster
Yeah.
building with pretty much every team. Even with that being said, though, like it seems as if they're going to even if Bogovac is back, you play him at the two and problem solve. You could probably even play Jonathan Powell at the two. And yeah, so with Bryson, there is like this is your runway. This is your path to being the guy. Whereas Duke, I just think when you consider the pedigree of guys like Kaminia or even Sebastian Wilkins, you can throw on the wing, like not much less Evans. If all those guys are back, then yeah, he'll be hard pressed. But and yet, Dion, I've just learned to never say Duke is a long shot if they want somebody. They might even just want Bryson Howard to stick it to Carolina, and he's going to sign up to be the seventh or eighth man and still declare for the draft and have a chance to rise up draft board. So,
It wouldn't be a terrible decision for him because like I say all that, and then with that in mind, Kaminia, Isaiah Evans, Caden Boozer could all go through the draft process and be like, "Hey, we're out of here," and then all of a sudden it's more wide open than you ever could imagine. The one that I think is interesting and has next to no shot is Kentucky, with Tyron seemingly on the way.
yeah.
That one, I think Kentucky's going to get more guys than Tyron. I don't believe the reports no one wants to play with Tyron. He's the best player in the country. I don't believe those reports. I just don't think it's Bryson Howard necessarily.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I'm with you, I think Kentucky definitely has the resources to make things interesting and to stay in there to the end. To me, it just seems like they've kind of spread the love too evenly to know which way like that staff is leaving because it seems like Jordan Smith was it's been viewed as largely like Duke in the driver's seat for that one. Arkansas has been hanging in there, and then but then you bring him to the Big Blue Madness, and he's raving about Kentucky. I think Kentucky's in there for Cam Williams as well. Like they're looking at a bunch of different wings. Caleb Holt, I still think could end up there. And all of that makes me think like again, this is lining up for Carolina for Hubert Davis to go in and do his, hey Josh, I love your son so much, need him on my team, and to pull off another like late recruiting steal like he did with Caleb Wilson. So
It's gonna be special too. Like Bryson Howard commits, Huber gets another extension. I also want to I want to congratulate the GM on fulfilling his bonus requirements.
You know what's crazy, Dion? The bonus to get one 4-star. If UNC doesn't get Bryson Howard, I don't know where they turn to because I
Well,
don't think they're getting Duron Rippey. Maybe they make a push for Dylan Mingo. I know he told Jamie Shaw recently that like Hubert talks to him all the time or something. But yeah, like it kind of feels like Bryson or bust right now. So that'd be hilarious if they don't even have a high school class and there is no 4-star bonus for Jim Tanner.
you got to get his bonus. Huber gets his extension. We run it right back next year.
You know what, Dion? I'll close by saying this. I'm cheering for Hubert. I want to go on record. Like I think the narrative on him has shifted way too far. Cart and I did a video on Jalen Washington saying or it was Tyler Nichols saying Jalen Washington was misused. No, he wasn't. He was not misused at UNC. He's just not that good. And I've been critical of Hubert on our channel. I've said I don't think he's the. Is that too harsh? I am very skeptical he's the long-term answer. I think he has a lot to prove this year, but he's someone who I'm like, all right, man, eventually you just got to draw a line in the sand if you're a Carolina fan and say, hey, look, we got our doubts about this guy. He's had some moments. He's had a lot of like frustrating moments as well, but some of this is swinging too far. I need my guy Hubert to come through this year and show everybody he can coach a little bit. So maybe he does that. Maybe he lands Bryson. Anyway, this should be just a fascinating battle to monitor on down the line. Duke, the looming threat. Kentucky, maybe, could always. I'm not going to discount Mark Pope, but yeah, I still think it ultimately comes down to Duke and UNC. But if you had to call your shot now, Dion, are you going with Carolina or you think?
Yeah, I think it's Carolina. I think they make the most sense. There's the most opportunity. It gets my guy Jimmy T his bonus. That's something that I've always actively rooted for. It gets my guy Hube his extension. No one's been more pro Hubert extensions than me. A lot of people like say, "Oh, he trashes North Carolina, this, that." Like I'm keep Hubert around. Like that's my thing. Like he made a Final Four at one point, made national. A lot of people forget he beat Coach K in his last game. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people forget that. Um, gets Hubert his extension. If Caleb Wilson ends up coming back because he stinks it up, it gives him a running mate. Like there's a lot of opportunity here for Bryson Howard to really be something special for the North Carolina program. And worst case scenario, can always play football for Belichick.
No better way to end it, though I really hope Caleb Wilson does not stink it up and he's back.